What's up, y'all? I'm Kara. Welcome back to my channel, and this is week 6 of my fiber study. If you're just now joining us, I recommend checking out the previous 5 videos to see what all I've spun so far. But the gist of it is I have 60 some samples, and I am working through them to see what my personal preferences for spinning are, so that in the future I know what I like to spin and what I don't want to spin, so that I can buy fiber based on what I know I like. And maybe sheep. Maybe one day I'll have sheep. That's also something that I'm considering. Let's roll for samples. So we got 47 Exmoor, 46 Oxford, 20 Gotland, and for our non-wool samples, 16 Mohair, mint. That'll be interesting. Let's pull out our samples and spin. All right, first off, I'm gonna start with Oxford, and I prepped this little rolaggy faux lag. I don't know. I did some off-camera prepping. So based on how this feels, I think I'm gonna like it. It didn't seem to be too short, and I can spin it then. I like it. It's got just that little bit of tooth while drafting smoothly that I enjoy. And I think this is a breed I would attempt to long draw, just based on how this prep came out. Yeah, I like this. I don't want to stop spinning it. There's Oxford. I really liked that. Oh, and it's really soft. It's not as rustic as I thought it would be. That's nice. I would put this in a sweater. I would put this in a sweater. Yeah, I really like that. Not a love, because I wasn't immediately like, oh yeah, but like next level down. I really liked it. Like 4 out of 5 stars. Next. Okay, next is Exmoor, which is another British breed. I feel like I'm not gonna be the biggest fan of this for the straight and hairy reasons, just based on my initial feels. It's like if the Herdwick hadn't had all of those different textures and lengths going on. I like this. I can tell this would definitely make a more rustic yarn. But I like it. It drafts smooth. I can spin it thin. I'm kind of surprised that I like it as much as I do. I can tell that it's not like stick straight. It has some crimp to it, which might be why I like it more than the other straighter, hairier breeds I've tried. I have a feeling, I don't know, we'll have to see how much elasticity I end up with after applying. I feel like it's going to be not a ton. It's got a decent staple length, a couple inches. Although even with a short forward draft, not all of the fibers want to smooth down. I feel like it would be a pokey yarn. Let's ply it and find out for sure. I enjoyed spinning it. Hardly any elasticity, but the yarn result is not something that I would work with in most of my projects. I would weave with it. Another one for the great for weaving. Great outerwear. Ooh, would probably make some, well, I don't know. I think you'd want a little bit more elasticity in a yarn you make socks with, but I do like a more rustic yarn for socks. I find they keep their shape better than like a merino. Well, that's Exmoor. And last but certainly not least is Gotland. I have some locks. Camera, can you focus? Look at how beautiful these are. Like the curl, and they're so shiny. I already know that I like Gotland. Based on my prior conclusions, I'm surprised that I like it, because it is very straight and like got that hairy quality, but because it's so shiny and soft, I think that's what makes it stand out to me. Like, that's what makes it different compared to the other straight and hairy breeds we've seen. Like, it drafts so smoothly compared to the rest. And I think that's because it's so lustrous. There's just something different about it compared to the other breeds. And I think that it's that shine, that draft so smoothly. And maybe it's got a higher micron count too. I don't know off the top of my head. I like Gotland enough that I put a deposit down on a fleece that's being sheared this weekend. Well, by the time you watch this, it will hopefully have been sheared. They were going to shear last weekend, but there was snow in Michigan, so the sheet got wet, and you don't want to shear wet fleece. Because I definitely needed another fleece. But I don't have a Gotland fleece, so that's my excuse. That's my justification, is that I don't have a Gotland fleece. I'm on my collection of fleeces. How long will it take me to get through all of them? I'm not even sure how many I have at this point. It's more than 5. I've only washed 2. That's as far as I've gotten. I haven't done any other prepping, but what would I make with my Gotland? Like, it has to be something that shows off the shine. Like maybe a shawl. Hat would be pretty cool. I don't think I'll have enough for a sweater, but we'll see. Stick around and find out. That's Gotland. It's too small of a sample for the camera to catch, like how shiny it is. But that's a shiny yarn. Whatever I end up making with it will be beautiful. Let's move on to our knot sheep. Next, I'm gonna do mohair next, just because I think it will spin similar to Gotland. This is I think a yearling. So this is a yearling mohair. So it's pretty soft, not as soft as Kid, but still soft. And I think it will spin up pretty similarly to Gotland. And for those of you who aren't familiar with what mohair is, it comes from a goat, a long-haired goat that has, I've seen them in person, they have locks. Their hair looks very similar to those Gotland locks that I was showing you. I want to get one tattooed on my thigh. Yeah, this feels very similar to Gotland, and I can spin it nice and thin too. Very, very smooth. All right, yeah, so that's mohair. It's also pretty, like, it looks pretty similar to the Gotland. Just a little bit, it's got more halo than the Gotland. But yeah, spun very similarly, like no elasticity. If you ever want to do an alpaca garment, we recommend carrying a mohair along with it because it has no elasticity. It'll help the alpaca not tear apart, essentially, over time. So if you do a 100% alpaca garment, you'll just stretch and stretch and stretch and stretch, because it has none of the, like the individual on the microscopic level, those fibers, they don't have the teeth that wool does. And those teeth is what helps the fibers stick to each other, which is why wool felts, those teeth will clamp down on each other and permanently. Alpaca doesn't have any of those, so it'll just continue, the fibers will continue moving away from each other, which is why alpaca garments you never want to hang those. They will stretch, even if you never hang them, they will stretch over time. That's why a mohair will help prevent that. Fun fact for you today, one more sample to go. Let's spin some mint. And this definitely reminds me of silk. It's like if you wanted silk, but a non-animal fiber, this might be a good alternative. Very similar to the bamboo. I've already blocked out how the pineapple felt, because I hated it that much. I don't remember it being silky, but yeah, this is quite similar to the bamboo. Not as easy as the actual silks I've tried. I think this is one of those fibers that I would like blend into something just to say like, oh, this is this weird blend. Have you ever knitted with mint? Just because I like weird stuff like that. Like, I have considered gardening only for the mere want of having weird colored vegetables, like, you know, purple carrots or purple potatoes. That's really the only reason I would ever garden, is to have those weird colored veggies. But actually, did you know that carrots were originally purple? The orange carrot is young, if you will, in comparison to purple carrots. I learned that. So, that's a fun fact. I like this. I think this would be an easier spin if it was blended with some wool. I might have to experiment with that. That sounds like fun. There's mint. Very shiny. I really like that. I'm interested in experimenting more with it. Sometimes you don't realize what you can make string out of until you find it. Very interesting. Yeah, I want to try blending it with something. That's that on week 6. Week 6, almost halfway, pretty much halfway through. Thanks for hanging with me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all the things to help out your local spinster. I'll see y'all next week. Happy crafting! Bye-bye!